Hey, what's up guys? It's Yen. So since I've been getting a lot of requests from you guys to make a video on how I passed my college entrance test, here it is. Basically, in this video, I will be sharing with you guys some of the tips on how I reviewed and generally how I conquered my CETs. So to give you guys a wider lens, I invited my friend JC so that we'll be sharing with you guys more tips and more experiences, okay?
Yes.
Just a background check, guys. I took 4 exams, namely the UCAT, USTET, BCAT, and the FEU-CAT. And thankfully, I passed all 4 of them. And just as him,
Yeah, I took 4 also. UCAT, BCAT, ASET, and USTET. And yeah.
you also passed. Before proceeding to, giving you guys all the tips and so on, just a disclaimer, guys, everything that we're about to tell you is solely based on our experiences, okay? So you must take everything that we say with a grain of salt, okay? Yeah, so without further ado, let's get started. So for the preparation, first thing that you need to do is to create a plan. Here, it's really important to identify the schools that you want to consider. There's a lot of factors that you should consider when, picking your schools, like if it's really convenient for you or if your desired degree program is available. And actually, there's a lot more, so just reflect. Okay.
Yeah. So you can take as many sets as you want so that you have other options. But remember that a lot of people are also aiming for a slot. So if you don't really want a university, don't anymore try to take their set because, be
giving to others, don't be greedy, guys. One advantage of taking many sets is that you get to practice it, like for the school that you're really aiming.
Don't take many sets just so you can brag to people that you've passed them all.
Okay, so next thing is fix your requirements. It's really important for you guys to fix your requirements as soon as the information regarding the application has been released. Okay, you need to be patient here, guys, because from our experience, it's really difficult to get the documents from the school and also try to search na for the requirements that's being asked for that certain school para isahan mo na lang siya kukunin at hindi ka pabalik-balik, especially right now, there's a pandemic and then there's actually no face-to-face classes, so we don't actually know kung paano yung makuha yung documents. So start as early as now. And also, guys, for the commonly asked documents, you prepare your Form 137, Form 138, prepare lots of 1x1 and 2x2 pictures, and then birth certificate as well as the certificate of good moral character.
Also take note of the testing dates because some actually overlap. Like BCAT and ASET can actually be held in the same day. So you really have to choose like day 1 or day 2 ka magte-test or yeah.
Kasi sayang naman if you applied for it na tapos hindi ka makaka-take, so you have to choose lang. Be really mindful of that.
And of course, keep track of the deadlines. Don't cram your requirements and pass them in the last minute. And when you're applying, especially if it's online, remember your password and your reference number so that when the results are released na, you won't have any more trouble finding them.
Next is decide on review centers. Ito yung pinaka-commonly asked question, like, do I really need to enroll myself in review centers? All I can say is that review centers are optional, okay? It's not necessary. It's up to you guys. Like, if you think that you work best with other people, then go for review centers. But if you think that you work best when you study alone, then go for it. And from my experience, kasi I did go to review centers just to give me a gist of what the topics that will potentially show up in the exam, and they also provided helpful tips and reliable materials.
And me personally, I didn't go to a review center because 1, I'm broke, and 2, I don't want to spend my summer studying again. So what I did was just to self-study, and I know to myself I'm not good at math, so I asked my friends if they can teach me. And during the summer, I would go to their house and we would review it together.
Review centers kasi is time-consuming, diba? It usually takes weeks or months. So if you just self-study, you can study a lot of coverage now. And for me personally, yung self-study is more effective kasi after review centers, like your review process shouldn't stop there. You should still review on your own kasi dun mo mapaprocess yun, ma-absorb. Kasi for me, kung sa review centers, like parang classroom learning lang siya. Mas na-absorb ko yung mga inaaral ko if I study it on my own. But really, it's up to you guys kung anong method ang nag-work for you.
Also take note if you're gonna review with friends. Remember that you guys are actually gonna review because most of the times you're just gonna have fun.
Yes.
And you might end up not really learning anything.
Yes, and also for self-studying naman, you can get a lot of reviewers online. Sa Twitter, maraming nagbibigay ng free reviewers, and then meron din tutorials, diba? May nagbibigay ng tutorials doon. And also, you can ask from your seniors. So, there are lots of resources. So, just maximize it, guys. And especially in this time, hindi natin afford lahat yun na makapag-review center. So, okay, so next is the review process.
So first, you need to outline the topics that you need to review for every subject so that you'll know actually what you need to focus on and what to study for.
There's a lot of coverage naman. You can find it. Sa Twitter, super rami talaga nagbibigay. And you can also ask the people na nakapasa for, you know, the coverage of the previous exam kasi it's most likely the same.
So next, you have to assess yourself so that developing strategies will be easier.
Under that, you should know your learning style because there are various learning styles and it's also different for different people. So you need to know yourself more so that you can adopt the learning style that's really best for you. And the next thing is know your strengths and weaknesses.
Me, actually, I know that I'm bad at math and I'm kind of good naman sa English. So what I did was just to look for a lot of review materials for math and try to solve so that I can actually improve in that. But for English, I didn't anymore delve in that because I know I can actually just brush up na lang.
Yes, you should absorb your weak points and then still master your strengths. Even though that you are good at it, you should not be too confident about it. Still master. When studying, guys, start first with your weaknesses para hindi ka na mag-cram. As what he said, that he focused on studying yung mga weak points niya. So, it's important that you give some time to those difficult and unfamiliar topics as early as now so that in the event na maubusan ka na ng oras, for example, na mag-start na yung school or papalapit na yung sets, hindi mo na ikakram yung mga difficult topics na yun. At least, na-startan mo na siya una pa lang. Next thing is to have a study habit. You should do it consistently, okay? There should be consistency here. Devote 1 hour or 2 hours every day for studying. You don't really have to spend all day studying. You just be consistent about it. Kahit short amount of time. Basta you absorb information every day.
This is especially when classes start now. Like, I remember a lot of us stopped studying for CETs because we have other responsibilities at school, like ACADS, and some of us are actually part of organizations. So, we actually have to divide our time so we can consistently study for CETs because, yeah, it's our future.
Yes, you need to know how to balance everything. This is where time management really comes to play, guys. You need to use and manage your time wisely so that as much as possible, you've already studied the coverage of the exam.
Honestly, for me, I can say that I was not able to balance my ACADS and CETs. So, I really did slack off a lot of times in senior year, but I can say naman it all paid off because I was able to pass my CETs naman at the end. I'm not saying that you should slack off in senior year, but still try to balance everything and make sure that you're giving equal attention to both your ACADS and your future.
Yes, and as the saying goes, a little every day is better than a series of nothings and a sudden everything, guys. I don't actually recommend procrastination. I don't recommend cramming. So start as early as now, guys. Because if you study just weeks or months before your exam, I think you won't really absorb that information because it's super hard and you actually need to practice it so that you would remember it and you'll get used to it. Another tip is to know your place and time of productivity. Kasi for me, I usually study morning or afternoon. I work best during the day. Some naman are studying during the night. So just see it for yourself. Okay, so next is make review words. So you can make flashcards so that all the formulas and terms that you want to remember is all there at once na. And you can also take down notes while reviewing. For me kasi, when I study, it's effective for me that I take down notes while reviewing and also make flashcards so that when I forgot something and I want to remember it, it's all there na. I don't have to look for the books and, you know, search it up one by one. It's also effective like papalapit na yung sets and you want to review na lang. It's easier for you to remember it kasi it's just there. You can see it, guys.
Same as here, I also made flashcards for math because I got to familiarize with concepts easily when I write them down. But if you think that it won't be effective for you, then don't do it. Don't try out creative ways if it won't help you. I know some of you guys here have actually watched related sensitive videos and you've seen how others are actually making flashcards and all to be productive. But don't do that for the sake of just saying that, oh, at the end of the day, I've been so productive. Don't do it if like you're not learning anything naman. If you think that it will be effective for you, then do it. But if you can just study right off the book, like directly through it, then don't and more waste time and effort making flashcards.
Next is study smart and efficiently. So here, what I mean is that you don't need to study a certain topic for a long period of time, because what's important is that you understand what you're actually reviewing, because Cets, it's mostly application. Well, there's also knowledge part and concept part, but if you solely memorize it, then it would be hard for you to answer it. But if you understand it and you know the concept, then it would be easier for you to answer it. So just review, understand what you're reviewing, and apply it.
So, study and refine your basics. Make sure to deflate your ego when it comes to subjects that you're already good at. So, you might think na, oh, I know this all na, but, you know, you might forget some. So, make sure that you still go back to the very start and brush up on that.
Yes, especially sa math, diba? Sometimes meron tayong mga concepts na I think alam natin, but actually, you know, you need more practice. Also, for the English and grammar portion, like yung mga subject-verb agreements, so on.
Also, don't take for granted shortcut methods because they will actually help you, especially in math, because you'll be given so much limited time and you will have to solve math problems under a minute. So by knowing these shortcut methods, you'll be able to find the answer easily.
For me, I use this one. This is the Tome of Knowledge from Upcut Review. It's also effective naman, of course, lalo na sa math. This actually helped me a lot because there are shortcuts on how to solve it so that it would be easier for me to solve the problems in Upcut in a short period of time. Not just only math, but also English and science. Yes, also for the mental ability, logical reasoning portion. So if you guys want it, then order rin kayo. Next is constant practice.
Practice, practice, and practice so you can finish on time and build endurance to go through CETs that last 4 to 5 hours.
Especially for problem solving and then reading comprehension, it is important for you to study so that you will get used to it. Also, practice within a time limit because CETs are actually super time pressuring, so you need to practice yourself na may time pressure. Also pala, even if there's classes na, if you can't review, it's also effective na you just practice. Kahit na hindi kayo mag-absorb ng new information, at least nung summer, di ba, nakapag-review na kayo. So you just practice it para at least ma-remember mo na rin yun somehow.
There are a lot of mock reviewers that you can find online. Just look for that and practice yourself, time yourself, so that you'll feel how it feels like to actually go through Cets.
For me naman, I use this one. Actually, sa MSA, marami pa dyan. I just bought this sa National Bookstore. And then this one, I just printed some of the reviewers online and then I practiced it so that it would be easier for me to bring anywhere. So I just practice it whenever I want. Okay, so that's it for the general tips on how you should prepare for your Cets. And now let's move on to the actual Cets na. Like, we'll also give your experiences and also the coverage that showed up. If you want to know more about that, just keep on watching. So first thing is the FEU-CAT. For FEU-CAT, I didn't take the exam sa FEU main. Actually, I took it sa FEU-NRMF, Nicanor Reyes Medical Foundation, because it's a med school. I don't know why kung ba't nakalimutan ko yung coverage nun, but from what I remember, we had a personality test. That was the first exam. So just be honest in answering that. After personality test, you'll be having a break, and then that's the time that they will give you a booklet. So in that booklet, there's science, English, math, I think. Far as I remember, yun yung mga subtests. And then, unlike other Cets, wala siyang time limit. Like, you can just go back to other subtests. Ang masasabi ko lang is that you take your time on answering, but don't be chill. FEU-CAT is actually bearable naman. You just have to know your basics, know your high school lessons. For math, it's all about basic algebra, and then there's also integrals. For science naman, it's just high school math. There's also chem, physics, bio, and earth sci. For the English portion, I think there's grammar and there's also reading comprehension like other Cets. So that's basically it for the FEU-CAT. Next is DCAT. It has mental ability, math, English, science, and personality test. So for mental ability, you just have to answer it to the best of your ability. Just basically about sequence and some math, what comes after this figure, and you can just practice it online. There's a lot of reviewers for that. For the personality test, is what I've said a while ago, you just have to be honest in answering that. Dito naman sa math, what can you say about math?
So if you ask those who have taken the TCAT na, they might tell you that it's the easiest set, but it actually depends on you because a lot of people freaked out when they saw statistics and research on the exam because they weren't expecting it to show up. But yeah, there's like a whole portion for statistics and there were about 40 questions for it. So I suggest that you brush up on your grade 11 statistics lessons.
And also grade 10 lessons din. I remember meron dun about measures of central tendencies, mean, median, mode, and also yung parang leaf ba?
And study t-test, population proportions in hypothesis testing, z-score, and the standard deviation.
Also, don't forget about studying business math. And then for English talaga, there's research. Mostly research, you know, right? About like referencing and citation. So, alam niyo na yun guys, like grade 12 is all about research. So, don't be a freeloader. Okay? Kasi if you're like the leader of the group, it would be easier for you to answer that kasi you know it na and then you apply it when you're doing the research. So, for science naman, it's just general science then. It's actually okay lang naman. There's bio. I remember my chem and physics then. Yung physics portion, ang naalala ko is just about formulas, about getting the work and then the force, the power. It's just basic, comparable. And next is the USTED. So, this is actually test na sinasabi nila na easiest among other exams. But, ngayong year, it's actually not.
Last year actually. Last year nag-start.
Ang alam ko kasi, yung math nila is bearable pa. But yung math natin ngayon is not bearable. A lot of people are taking USTED for granted. Baka siguro dahil doon, hinirapan na nila na yung exam. Super na-surprise kami sa coverage ng exam. For the coverage naman, first is the mental abilities. 80 items in just 30 minutes. It's easy for me. Easy rin ba siya for you? Well, some people are saying na mahirap siya, but okay lang naman. It's bearable, just common sense. It's about finding patterns then. Also, yung mga words, yung parang analogy. Analogy ba yun tawag doon? Also, basic math. May math and computation. So, all I can say is that you answer quickly in this portion because this portion of the test is too time pressuring and then you have to write your computations and yung formulas that you used sa scratch paper na provide sa'yo. Finish the test, guys, kasi mental ability is your make or break test sa USTED. So, you have to, you know, do your best here. If hindi mo siya natapos, just trade randomly. Basta important is you answer everything kasi wala naman mawawala sa'yo if in-answer mo yun. And sayang ng points if you just leave it blank, diba? Nakapasa ka sa other portion ng USTED, but if you failed mental ability, you can't go to USTED. So, don't take mental ability for granted. The next thing naman is for math. So, math is 60 items and it's for 45 minutes. Ito talaga yung grabe. Like, super hirap nito. Ang masasabi ko lang is, maging human calculator ka para masagot mo yun. You just review general math in grade 11 and there's so much calculus, guys. So much calculus and basic algebra, basic trigo, double, triple derivatives, guys. Dito ako naloka. There's also business math. I reviewed it but it's actually not the basic one kasi it's raised to a large number like raised to 16, raised to 21. Review those things. Okay, it's better na meron na kayong heads up ngayon sa amin para di na kayo ma-surprise. From my experience, just 10 minutes lang natitira and I'm just halfway. So what I did was actually randomly shade the answer and answered everything. And then ikaw, what's your experience sa USTED math?
Hard. If you're in a STEM, you're gonna take the USTED math.
Next naman is for the English portion. 60 items in just 45 minutes. Okay naman siya. No finding errors and grammars unlike other sets. And there's also reading comprehension. You have to analyze, you know, a certain passage. Meron din mga graphs. Onte lang. And then most portion ng reading niya is oral communication topic and EAPP topic. So this is a big advantage to USC senior high school students. For us naman, naging advantage namin to kasi sabihan na kami ng mga previous years na be ready ready for the oral comm part. So we're kind of prepared about it now. Just have to review oral communication lessons like yung models of communication, yung mga perlocutionary, illocutionary, and locutionary, book review, and then types of formal writing, and so on. And if you have friends na taga UST Manila, senior high school, hingi na kayo sa kanila ng mga notes nila because it will be helpful then. Last naman is for the science, also 60 items and then 45 minutes. Here, just review concepts and terms from Gen Bio 1 and Gen Bio 2. Bio, mostly bio kasi siya, cell cycle, some parts ng heredity, genetics, like that. Also, Gen Physics 1 and Gen Chem 1 and 2, mga stoichiometry, balancing equations, yun yung usually nag-appear, so just review them all.
The content of the DOST, they say it was actually very STEM-centered. Like, you'll get an advantage if you're from the STEM strand. But if you're from the other strands, well, it's okay naman, but you just have to really study. Like, especially in math, you have to go through the calculus part. And for the language naman, it's kind of easy, but you really have to brush on your oral communication. And for the science, you have to go hand in hand in understanding the concepts, so you won't get behind others, especially those na from STEM.
Okay, so next is the assets. I actually didn't take assets, so that's why he's gonna talk about his experiences and tips also, because I have no idea about it.
Me personally, asset was the easiest set that I took, but when I asked my friends how it went for them, they told me that it was the hardest. And I feel like they were able to say that because of the time pressure. The test was super fast. You have to answer 30 items in just 10 minutes. So for every item, you only have to spend like a maximum of 20 seconds, so you won't be short of time. But that's really how fast the asset is. But for me, the content, if like there's no time pressure, the content was pretty easy. I mean, not really easy, but it's like chill lang compared to the other sets. When preparing for assets, just have to practice answering fast. And of course, don't allow the time pressure to get to you. It's important that you're on your game the whole time. For the English part naman, it's quite easy lang. You just have to know your subject-verb agreement, how to use conjunctions properly in a sentence, and you also have to level up your word bank as you might encounter unfamiliar words in the language part. The reading comprehension is quite easy, but of course, you have to learn how to read fast. There are also questions that sort of test your general knowledge on some things. Like, they ask, what's the meaning of philo in philosophy? What's the famous work of Edgar Allan Poe? And stuff like that. You will also encounter the logic section, and it's actually the trickiest part. So in logical reasoning, the choices are affirmative, negative, possibly affirmative, or possibly negative. And they'll ask questions like, truth is not easy to attain, fools despise wisdom, water cannot burn. And you have to figure out if it's affirmative or possibly affirmative, or it's just so ADMU is notorious for reasoning questions designed to mess you up, so respect the worst. For abstract reasoning, you have to familiarize yourself with the shapes. It is just so confusing, especially that you only have to answer it in a short amount of time, super limited time. For math naman, personally I'm not that good at math, like I said earlier, but I found the asset math kinda easy. Like, I was not able to answer only 4 questions in math. I was not able to solve it, but I just made an educated guess. There were like 2 math sections in the asset. One section was full of functions, graph the functions, find the x, like that. While the second section focuses more on the numerical ability. I actually find the numerical ability easy because I'm from EBM, and it contained a lot of questions like age problems, investment problems, uniform motion problems, distance word problems, and the like. For the essay portion, they'll just give you a question or like a word, like hope, and you have to write something about that. Your essay doesn't have to be super long. Just make sure that it's concise and complete. And another, the essay portion is actually included na in the language subtest. That's why what I did was to finish the language part quickly so that I could use the remaining time on my essay. So you just have to practice writing your essay quickly and make sure that the thought in your essay is complete, no matter how messed up it is. For the vocabulary part, you don't really need to study on a lot of uncommon words, like deep words and all. I remember the essay didn't have super raming unfamiliar words. It's chill lang, and you can actually use context clues naman in figuring out the meaning for the word. So the best thing that you can do is to read up. You'll honestly just find it easy if you read a lot. I suggest just focus on the numerical ability, the abstract reasoning, and the math part. Practice skimming and reading quickly because the exam will just go by so quickly.
So now guys, let's proceed to the UPCAT. Maybe this is what you've been waiting for. It's finally here. For UPCAT Math, it's 60 items in just 1 hour and 15 minutes. You just have to review basic algebra, geometry, trigonometry, and there's a lot of word problems also, like work and age-related problems. 1 point lang siya, pero kahit na, you still have to do your best here. Also, statistics, arithmetic series, and piecewise functions. Basically, if alam mo na yung basics sa pag-solve ng word problems and alam mo basta yung formulas in answering the problems, then kaya mo na masagutan yung UPCAT Math. Well, sabi nila, among the other exams, easiest na daw yung UPCAT Math. Well, for me, sakto lang naman. It's not too easy. It's not really too difficult. Ang goal nyo is dapat unang tingin nyo pa lang sa problem. Alam nyo na kung ano yung process, ano yung gagamitin yung formula doon para you won't take too much time in answering it. UPCAT Math is super time pressuring, guys. So, gawin nyo yung best nyo para ma-answer mo yung isang item in like a minute, or much better if less than a minute. Bilisan nyo lang, guys, yung pag-solve. You find the fastest way in solving and then you're okay with it. Don't stress yourself sa math. Don't let yourself be intimidated kahit yung iba tapos na sila. Huwag mo silang pansinin. Just focus on yourself. Next is the science portion. Is 60 items in 50 minutes. You just have to review branches ng science, earth sci, bio, chem, and physics. For earth sci, mostly natandaan ko, meron siya about the tectonics, layers of the earth, yung mga rocks and minerals, also mga phases of the moon. Also biology, ecosystem, taxonomy, heredity, cell biology, super raming genetics sa biology. Para sa akin, super naka-help yung grade 12 bio namin, yung Gen Bio 2 namin. Sa chem, more on gas laws yun. Gas laws, stoichiometry, balancing chemical equations, chemical reactions, and about mixtures, compounds, and solutions. Also, for physics, about scalar and vector quantities, laws of motion, work, energy, force. You just have to, know the formula and then the concepts, because UPCAT science is more on analyzing, more on situational siya. Hindi siya masyado concept-based, knowledge-based. So, you really have to understand. For the language proficiency portion naman, it is 100 items in 50 minutes. Usual lang, more on vocabulary, grammar, spelling, correct usage, subject-verb agreement, and then yung parallelism ng sentences. Also, half ng items ng language proficiency is Filipino.
I suggest, if you're not a good Filipino, try reading passages in Filipino so that you'll get to familiarize yourself with Filipino words and you'll not have a hard time understanding the words in the UPCAT.
Okay, so for the last one is the reading comprehension. It's 100 items for 1 hour and 15 minutes. So here, you'll be encountering questions under context clues, getting the main idea, inferences, drawing conclusions, and figures of speech. Here, you'll also encounter very, very long articles, passages, stories, poems, etc. So, I suggest that you guys read first the questions before going on with the passage. Look for the question and then scan the entire passage. And as much as possible, you take into consideration the main points that you must look for. Diba? It's easier for you than just reading the entire passage. Tas yun pala yung question is just simple about the main topic lang.
Studying for UPCAT is actually draining compared to other sets because it has super daming coverage.
Yeah, the coverage is broad.
That's why you also have to study on the different topics. That's why you really have to
A lot of time.
do a lot of time.
One advantage also of studying ahead of time na is that you can cover a lot of coverage na.
Also, don't be scared of the correct -1/4 wrong policy.
Actually, while taking the exam, hindi ko na siya naalala. I just answered everything that I can.
Some will tell you to leave blanks, while some will tell you to just answer it all because you never know if you just made chamba one item. It can be correct na. So, it can earn you a point. It depends on you actually. Like, if you completely don't know the answers for that item, then leave it blank. But if you can make an educated guess, then we suggest just answer it.
Yes. What I did sa UPCAT is yung mga items na wala pa akong answer and the time is up na, I just shaded randomly. May nagsasabi kasi if you shade randomly daw, like isang letter lang ang kailangan mong i-shade. So, ayun, I remembered C ata yun. So, lahat ng hindi ko nasagutan, C lahat. C for Christ. Pero yun, thankfully, nakapasa ako. UPM. It's not bragging naman, no? Just being credible here
Good
para
job,
at least may basis naman yung mga pinagsasabi namin. Ikaw, saan ka ba nakapasa?
I got into UP Diliman.
Yes. Okay, guys, we're now gonna give you final tips, okay? Just review. Review lang kayo ng review, guys. Just keep practicing, even a short amount of time during your free time. Don't slack off, guys. Kahit may classes na, it's better pa rin na nababalance nyo yun para at least na-retain nyo pa rin yung mga pinag-aralan nyo. Also, 1 week or 2 weeks before the exam, wag na kayong mag-aral talaga ng bongga. You just take refresher courses kasi it's really best for you guys to be confident about the knowledge that you have before taking the exam.
Also, if you're just starting senior high or you're still in junior high right now, make sure that you keep your grades high because it will actually help you in the long run. Although a lot of people will tell you na grades don't really matter, they would actually do. Like during applications, they'll actually ask for your grades. And if you have high grades, then it can give you a head start in getting into the university that you want.
Yes, for UPCAT kasi, your UPG is actually 40% of your grade from grade 9 to 11, I guess. And then 60% nun is yung grade mo na sa UPCAT. If you have high grades na before, then you're at advantage.
If you're gonna take up a business-related course or STEM course, those programs are actually hard, so you have to take extra effort in studying for Cets. But I'm not saying that if you're gonna take up liberal arts or social sciences, then you won't anymore have to exert effort. But it's just that courses related to business or STEM are usually in demand. That's why a lot of people are competing for a slot.
So yeah, study harder, guys. And you can also apply for scholarships. So for DOST, actually, we didn't take the exam, but we're just gonna give you guys the coverage of the exam that my friend gave me kasi there's a lot of people daw na mag-take ng DOST. So it might be of help. So we're just gonna insert the picture here, just screenshot it.
Also, if you're gonna apply for DOST, make sure that you know the programs under it because you might take a different course that's not covered by the scholarship. Because we actually have a friend who passed DOST, but the course that he got into was economics. That's not actually covered by the scholarship. So, he won't get to enjoy it anyway. You can also apply for financial aid scholarships to universities like Ateneo, and merit scholarships are actually given to top performing applicants like the Archer Achievers for De La Salle and the merit scholarship for Ateneo.
Also, always have a positive mindset. There's someone who asked me sa Instagram how not to lose motivation while reviewing. Don't compare what you've studied sa napag-aralan ng iba because you just end up pressuring yourself, you just end up doubting yourself. So just go on with your own pace. Don't let yourself be too intimidated of other people.
Also, to not lose motivation, remember that it's your future at stake. So and it's just one time. So try not to flunk the exam. Also, during SAT season, you'll actually see a lot of people reviewing for the exam, but don't get pressured by it. When SATs are near, I see a lot of stories on my Instagram and like my batchmates are reviewing. And it actually makes me nervous when I see myself not reviewing for anything. But don't be pressured. Don't beat yourself up in studying. If you need rest, then go take a rest.
And lastly, guys, don't forget to pray. So always ask for guidance, for strength, for wisdom. Yes, that's actually it for our tips. So if you guys want to know more about the detailed tips on how I studied for my Cets, I have a video for that. I filmed that last year when I was studying for Cets. So it might be help to you. And if you're also looking for reviewers, we're gonna compile a reviewer and we're gonna link it there sa description box. So I hope that you guys learned something from this video. I hope that yung mga pinagsasabi naming tips, experiences, and coverage ay makapagtulong sa inyo. So we just hope that you do your best and just trust the process. So good luck on your Cets, guys. If you're new here, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos. Thank you for watching. Bye!
I wish I could be with you 같이 걷고 싶어 tell me anywhere 주인공이 될 수 있게 오늘도 너의 톡을 놓게